Okay, let's get right into it. We're all hyped about how smart AI agents are getting, but we're completely overlooking the single biggest thing holding them back. They have terrible memories. So in this explainer, we're going to break down why this AI amnesia is such a huge business risk and talk about a surprisingly simple way to fix it. And this quote from Nominex, man, it just nails it. Everyone's out there debating which AI model is better. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. But that whole debate doesn't matter one bit if the agent you build can't remember what you told it 5 minutes ago. Memory isn't just some nice-to-have feature. It is the infrastructure. It's the fridge. I want you to imagine hiring the most brilliant consultant in the world. In the meeting, they're on fire, full of amazing insights. But the second they walk out that door, poof, they forget everything. Every single meeting starts from absolute scratch. That's exactly what's happening with most AI agents right now. All this incredible power, but zero continuity. And look, this isn't just some minor inconvenience. This constant forgetting creates real, quantifiable costs and introduces some pretty serious risks for any company that's relying on these agents. So let's actually put some numbers on just how costly it is. So in the AI world, there's actually a name for this problem. It's called the retrieval to Oracle gap. And all that means is it's the performance difference between an AI that has to search for the right information versus a perfect AI that just knows it. And the industry standard gap, it's huge. We're talking 25 to 35 points. That is a massive amount of performance you're just leaving on the table. Okay, but here's where things get really interesting and honestly a little bit scary. You'd think that some memory is better than no memory at all, right? Well, what if I told you that's not just wrong, but that having incomplete information can be way, way more dangerous than having none? This leads to a really catastrophic kind of failure. And this chart just illustrates it perfectly. When you take these top AI models and give them only half the information they need, they all score a miserable 0.2. Now, the reason that score is so terrifying is because a 0.2 doesn't mean the AI said, I don't know. It means it gave a confident, plausible, really well-written answer that was completely and dangerously wrong. It's an invisible mistake. This has a name. It's called the partial context trap. The agent literally doesn't know what he doesn't know, so all its internal signals for uncertainty just vanish. It gives you an answer that looks right and feels right, but it's built on nothing. For any business, that's the nightmare scenario, isn't it? The mistake you never even knew was made. So that's the problem, and it's a big one. How do we fix it? Well, Nominex has a really different take on all this with a system they call Poor Man's Memory, or PMM. And the key idea here is it's not about just building a bigger hard drive for the AI. It's about changing the agent's entire relationship with memory. So let's compare the standard approach called context stuffing with PMM. Context stuffing is brute force. You just dump a massive pile of text into the prompt and cross your fingers that the AI finds what it needs. The AI is totally passive. PMM flips that on its head. It turns the agent into an active participant. It decides what to look for, it judges what it finds, it even writes its own new memories. It's the difference between being handed a 500-page messy binder versus being given a key to the library and your own research assistant. And it all boils down to 3 simple but really powerful principles. First, structure replaces search. Instead of a mess of data, you have clearly labeled files like decisions.md or lessons.md. The agent knows exactly where to look. Second, agent autonomy. The agent itself decides what's relevant, not some weird black box algorithm. And third, and this is the really brilliant part, Get replaces infrastructure. Yeah, the same simple version control tool your developers already use. It means every single change to the agent's memory is tracked, timestamped, and completely auditable for free. So the philosophy sounds elegant, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Well, the proof is in the data. We're talking about a pre-registered evaluation with over 2,100 tests. So let's see how it did. All right, take a look at this, because this is where it gets exciting. That bar on the left, that's your standard industry approach, RAG, scoring about 0.6. But then look at the middle bar. That's PMM. It jumps all the way to over 0.8. And see that bar on the far right? That's the Oracle. That's basically a perfect score. PMM gets incredibly close to perfection. It almost completely closes that performance gap. So what does that mean in practical terms? Remember that massive 25 to 35 point industry standard gap we talked about? With PMM, that gap shrinks down to, get this, just 0.8 to 8.6 points. That is 5 to 6 times smaller. That's not a small improvement. That's the difference between an apprentice and a master.
And when you break it down by individual agent, it gets even more wild. Check out this agent, Sable. For Sable, the performance gap was less than a single point, just 0.9 points away from being absolutely perfect. That's insane. It means the agent, all on its own, could retrieve information nearly as well as if we'd perfectly spoon-fed it the answer.
But here's the thing. Achieving near-perfect recall, that's actually just the beginning. The real value for a business isn't just about remembering facts. It's about everything that becomes possible once forgetting is a solved problem. And this is the real heart of the argument. The rest of the industry is obsessed with recall benchmarks. Basically, who can build the better digital filing cabinet? But a filing cabinet can't tell you why a decision was made 6 months ago. The real competition is about creating genuine understanding and accountability.
And this is what happens after recall. With a system like PMM, you get governance and auditability baked right in, by default. Because every memory is a commit in Git, you can trace any decision back to a specific point in time and know exactly why it was made. You can prove what an agent knew and when it knew it, which is a game changer for compliance. And maybe the most important thing of all, you get intelligence that compounds, an institutional memory that actually gets smarter and more valuable over time. So this all leaves us with one final, really critical question to think about. Is your AI strategy building a temporary cache that's designed to forget? Or is it building a permanent, compounding archive of your institutional knowledge? Because at the end of the day, one is just a clever tool, and the other is a lasting competitive advantage.